Okay, good morning students. This is Venkar Reddy. Okay, good morning students. This is Venkar Reddy. Today in this semester we will start a new subject called DSP. This is called Digital Signal Processing. Generally this is the extension of a subject called Signals and Systems. So as well here we have 5 units. In the first unit we will see what is meant by a signal and what are the classifications of signals and what is meant by a system and what are the classifications of system, what is meant by DSP, what are the advantages of DSP and applications of DSP and disadvantages of DSP. Okay, that means in the entire first unit we have seen introduction of DSP, and similarly here we also seen DFT called discrete Fourier transform. Okay, similar to Fourier transform, DTFT. Here we have another Fourier transform called discrete Fourier transform. First we will see introduction of DSP, then we should go for DFT. Okay, here coming to the first one, first I said signals. Generally here we have two types of signals. One is continuous time signals, another one is discrete time signals. If you see in this table, we have four types of signals. One is analog signals, continuous time signals, discrete time signals and digital signals. Analog signal means every signal based on two parameters. One is time, another one is amplitude. If both time and amplitudes both are in continuous, then such type of signal we call as analog signal. Analog signal means time is in continuous, amplitude is also in continuous. Similarly, continuous time signals means time is in continuous mode, amplitude in discrete time mode. That type of signal we call as continuous time signals. If time is in discrete, amplitude is continuous, we call as discrete time signals. Both are in discrete, we call as digital signals. Okay, that means here the entire signals are classified into four types: analog signals, continuous time signals, discrete time signals, digital signals. Analog signals means both time and amplitude are in continuous mode. Continuous time signals means time in continuous mode, amplitude is in discrete mode. Discrete time signals means time in discrete mode, amplitude in continuous mode. Digital signals means time in discrete mode, amplitude is also in discrete mode. This is called taxonomy of signals. That means classification of signals. So coming to the signal, first introduction, what is meant by a signal? You know that signal is defined as a physical quantity that varies with an independent variable. That means signal is a physical quantity carrying some information that will vary with respect to some independent variable, where independent variable may be time, space or anything. Okay, generally here this is the type of signals which we use, two-dimensional signal. That means here we have two variables, one is x, another one is y. By using those two variables we can change the signal. Okay, similarly we have a lot of signals which we have seen in the next classes. Okay, coming to the classification of signals, this is the major classification of signals: multi-channel and multi-dimensional signals, continuous time and discrete time signals, continuous valued and discrete valued signals, discrete and random signals. So let's look one by one. First, multi-dimensional signal. If a signal is a function of single independent variable, that means if a signal is depends on only one independent variable, such type of signal we call as one-dimensional signals. Whatever the signals we have studied in SS, that means signals and system subject, all the signals are one-dimensional signals. Okay, if a signal depends on two independent variables, then it is called two-dimensional signal. Like image is always depends on two, horizontal and vertical, x and y axis. If a signal depends on multi-dimensional signal, that means if a signal depends on one or more, two or more independent variables, then it is called multi-dimensional signal. That means if a signal depends on two or more independent variables, then it is called multi-dimensional signals. For example, video is the multi-dimensional signal. Why? Because it depends on three variables, x, y, t, where t is the time. Okay, that means video means number of pictures are taken according to the time. That's why it will depends on three independent variables. That's why it is called multi-dimensional signal or three-dimensional signal. That means Multi-dimensional signal means how many independent variables is the important parameter. If a signal depends on only one independent variable, it is called one-dimensional signal. If a signal depends on two independent variables, then it is called two-dimensional signal. If a signal depends on three or more independent variables, then it is called multi-dimensional signal. This is the first classification what we have. Next, multi-channel signals. If a signal generated by one source, that means for generation of signal we must have source. If a signal depends on generated by only one source, it is called single channel signal. If a signal generated by multiple sources, then it is called multi-channel signals. Okay, generally every signal should be generated by using a single channel. That's why it is called single channel signals. Always we will use. Next, continuous time signals. You already know in signals and systems. If a signal defined at each and every time interval, that means if a signal defined from minus infinity to plus infinity at each and every time instant, that means 0, 0.001, 0.002, 0.003 to 0.99999. At each and every time instant, if a signal is defined, such type of signals we call as continuous time signals. Okay. Example, it's example x1 of t is equal to cos pi t. You know cos signal will vary from minus infinity to infinity at each and every time instant. Okay, coming to the discrete time signals are defined only at specific values of time. That means at particular time intervals only we can define the signal. Such type of signals we call as discrete time signals. That means we should define the signal at 0, 1 and 2 at that like then there is some time period. In between those time period 0 to 1 we can't define a signal. Okay, so discrete time signals always defined by using x of n. Continuous time signals is always defined by using x of t. Okay, next, continuous valued and discrete valued signal. If a signal takes on all possible values on a finite or infinite range, that means if you take a finite range from 10 minus 10 to 10 or infinite range minus infinity to infinity, if the signal taken all the values, that means minus 10 to 10 means minus 10, minus 9.999, minus 9.888, minus 9.777, that means all values are taken, not only integers, all the decimals will taken. Such type of signals we call as continuous valued signal. If a signal takes values from a finite set of possible values, finite set of possible values means from minus 10 to 10, if we take minus 10, minus 9, minus 8, minus 7, minus 6, that type of signal we call as discrete valued signal. That means if we take in a finite set of values we call as discrete valued signal. If we take again infinite or finite both range of values we call as continuous valued signals. Okay. Next, as you know, digital signal. Digital signal means a discrete time signal having a set of discrete values. That means in the taxonomy of signals I said discrete time signal is different, digital signal is different. Discrete time signal means the signal is continuous, discrete in time and continuous in amplitude. That means discrete time signal is called discrete time continuous valued signal. Digital signal means discrete time discrete valued signal is called as digital signal. That's the difference between discrete and digital. Digital is discrete in both attitudes, that means in time and in amplitude. Okay. Next, deterministic signal, a signal that can be uniquely described by a mathematical expression. That means if a signal is defined by a mathematical expression, that is called deterministic. Otherwise it is called non-deterministic signal or random signal. That means if a signal cannot be defined by using a mathematical expression, then it is called non-deterministic or random signals. That is a classification of signals. In this classification we will see what is meant by multi-channel signals, what is meant by multi-dimensional signals, what is meant by discrete valued signals, and what is meant by continuous valued signals, what is meant by continuous time signals, what is meant by discrete time signals, what is meant by deterministic signals, and what is meant by random signals. This is a classification of signals and also the theoretical topic what you have in the SP. Then also all you have studied these topics in SS, signals and systems. That's why I will do it fast manner. So discrete time signals, why? Because this is a subject called digital signal processing. We will discuss only on discrete time concepts, not on continuous time. In DSP there is no chance of x of t. We will always discuss signal means x of n. That's why we will discuss only discrete time signals and discrete time signal processing concepts. A discrete time signal is a function of independent variable, then it is an integer. Okay. So here the major concept is we have to consider only x of n. We don't consider x of t. What is meant by discrete time signal? A signal which is defined at particular time intervals. At particular time intervals, if you define a signal, that is called discrete time signal. Okay. Generally, discrete time signal can be represented by using these four types. One is graphical representation, functional representation, tabular representation, sequence representation. This is the four ways how we can represent discrete time signal. Graphical representation, functional representation, tabular representation, and sequence representation. Functional representation means this is the way how we can represent the signal. X of n is the signal, 1 is the amplitude. Okay, x of n is equal to 1 when n is equal to 1 comma 3. When n is equal to 2, its amplitude is 4. That means we have to represent what is its amplitude at which position. That is called functional representation. And tabular, you know that we have two columns, two rows. One is n, another one is x of n. At n position, what is the amplitude? That means at n is equal to minus 2, what is its amplitude? At n is equal to 0, what is its amplitude? At n is equal to 1, what is its amplitude? At n is equal to 2, that like this. Tabular representation means we have to represent the values of positions. Okay. Functional representation means we have to represent like this. Tabular representation means we have to represent like this. Next, sequence. You know that sequence should be represented within the braces. We have to take braces like this. Within these braces, we have to represent all amplitudes. Whatever the down arrow we have, this is called n equal to 0 position. Okay. All the right side values we have n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4. All the left side we have n equal to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 1. That means sequence is always represented by using flower brackets. In between the flower brackets we have to represent the amplitudes. Where we have to take n equal to 0, we have to place this down arrow symbol. Okay. Then graphical representation, you know how to represent the graphical. We have to write x-axis, that is n. We have to take y-axis, that is x of n. We have to represent samples. At n equal to 0, what is the amplitude? At n equal to 1, what is the amplitude? Like this. That means sequence can be represented in four ways. One is functional representation, tabular representation, sequence representation, and graphical representation. Why we require this, sir? Why? Because we don't know in the problem they have given what type of signal. That means DSP means digital signal processing. We have to take some mathematical operations on the given signal. That is called DSP. That means in the question paper they have given any type of signal. They don't take functions. Always they don't take graphical. Always they don't take tabular. Always they don't take sequence. What type of signal they have given, you have to be taken into your stage and you have to apply some mathematical operations. That means if they given graphical representation, you have to take mathematical operations. If you take a sequence, you have to take, if you take a functional, you have to apply operations like this. What type of representation they have given, you have to convert into the functional representation, then we have to apply some mathematical operations. Okay. That's why we have to see what are the types of representation of sequence. Okay. That is the representation of discrete time signal. Discrete time signal ni manam 4 types of represent chesukovachu. Those are the 4 types of representation. Okay. 1 minute. Okay, now we will see, you know that there are some basic signals which we call as elementary signals, which are used to find out the system characteristics. To find out the characteristics of the new system which we have generated, we require some basic signals. Those signals we call as elementary signals. So I already said we are in DSP, that is called digital signal processing subject. That's why we always discuss about discrete time signals, not about continuous time signals. That means here we have some elementary signals. You already know that, like impulse, that means sample sequence, step sequence, exponential sequence, sinusoidal sequence, ramp sequence. We have some basic signals. Here we have seen, once again we have seen what are those signals or sequences. First one, unit sample sequence. You know that unit sample or unit impulse sequence should be represented by using delta of n. Delta of n means, let's say, representation, mathematical representation. So the definition point of view, delta of n is equal to 1 for n equal to 0, 0 for n not equal to 0. That means delta of n should be having an amplitude of 1 at n equal to 0. Okay, this is also referred as unit impulse sequence. You know that every elementary signal, what is the mathematical representation and what is the functional representation and what is the graphical representation, we will see. Okay, mathematically unit sample sequence should be represented by using delta of n, and functionally delta of n is equal to 1 for n equal to 0, and it should be represented as unit impulse signal. Okay, graphical, this is the graphical representation of delta of n, that is whenever n equal to 0 its amplitude is 1, remaining all cases its amplitude is 0. That is called unit sample or unit impulse sequence. Next, coming to the unit step signal, this is represented by using u of n. You know that unit step should be represented by using u of n. Mathematically, u of n is equal to 1 for n greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for n less than 0. That means from n value 0 to infinity, its amplitude is 1. Whenever n value 0 to minus infinity, its amplitude is 0. Then unit ramp signal should be represented by using r of n or u r of n. This is the representation u r of n, which is equal to n for n greater than or equal to 0, 0 for n less than 0. That means 0 to infinity, its amplitude is a linear curve. When n equal to 0, its amplitude is 0. When n equal to 1, its amplitude is 1. When n is equal to 2, its amplitude is 2. When n is equal to infinity, its amplitude is infinity, like ramp signal. For n less than 0, 0 to minus infinity, its amplitude is 0. Okay. This is the unit ramp signal, what we have, like this, it should be increased. And it is the unit step signal. That means from n equal to 0 to infinity, its amplitude is constant, 1. When n equal to 0 to minus infinity, its amplitude is 0. For ramp, for n equal to 0 to infinity, its amplitude is a linear curve. That's why it is n equal to 0, 0, n equal to 1, 1, n equal to 2, 2, n equal to 3, 3, n equal to infinity, infinity. From 0 to minus infinity, its amplitude is always 0. Okay, that is about unit step and unit ramp signals. Then exponential, you know that exponential signal should be represented as x of n is equal to a of n, where a is the real variable, and that's why x of n is the real signal. Okay, if you take a equal a complex variable like r into e power j theta, it should be represented r into e power j theta whole power n. Oh, this is a exponential signal. You know that exponential signals, it's a decaying exponential signal. Sometimes we have exponential, that means increasing exponential signal based on a value. If a is less than 0, it's a decaying exponential signal. If a is greater than 0, we have a signal like this, 0 to infinity. Okay, based on we have different type of exponential signals. Okay, then one of the major thing we can find out energy of the given signal, and we can also find out power of the given signal. By using that, we should whether the given signal is energy signal or power signal. That means if the given signal is energy signal, its energy must be finite. If the given signal is a power signal, its power must be finite. That means whether the given signal is energy signal or power signal, how we can find out? By using these formulas. That means the given signal is x of n, energy of the given signal, this is the formula, E equal to summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n whole square. Power means limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus 1 summation n equal to minus n to n x of n whole square. By using these two formulas, we can find out energy and power of the given signal. For any signal, we can find out energy or power. Okay, some cases we have neither energy or nor power. Some cases we have either energy or power. By using these formulas, we can set whether the given signal is energy signal or power signal. How, sir? They are given some x of n, that's a signal. You have to apply these formulas. You have to find out energy. If energy is finite, it's energy signal. If energy is equal to infinity, then go for power. If power is finite, then it is called power signal. We have to find out both energy and power. Based on the output, we can set whether it's an energy signal or it's a power signal or it's a neither energy or nor power signal. We will check. Okay. This is another type of classification of signals. That means we already seen classification of signals like multi-channel signals, multi-dimensional signals, continuous time signals, discrete time signals. That's a basic classification. Here we have seen classification of discrete time signals. In this we have go for energy and power. A signal x of n is called energy signal if energy is finite. That means మనం తీసుకున్నటువంటి, that means whatever the signal we have taken, the signal energy first we have to find out. If that energy is finite, that is called energy signal. For energy signal, power must be 0. If the signal is called power signal, if the signal power is finite, that means power must be 0 to infinity. If power is finite, then it is called power signal. For power signal, energy must be infinity. At this point, for energy signal, power must be 0. For power signal, energy must be infinity. For energy signal, energy is finite. For power signal, power is finite. Based on that, we can set energy and power. Okay. Unit step signal is always a power signal. Exponential signal is always energy signal. Ramp signal is neither energy or nor power. I said all cases signal must be energy or must be power. In some cases we have neither energy or nor power signals is also there. Okay, that is about energy and power signals. Then periodic and aperiodic signals. A signal x of n is called periodic signal which must be obeys this condition. X of n plus n is equal to x of n. If the signal which obeys that condition is called as periodic signal, where capital N is called fundamental period. The smallest value of n that satisfies the above equation is called fundamental period, that is called capital N. If a signal which doesn't obey the above condition is called non-periodic signals. All sinusoidal and cos signals are periodic signals. Then symmetric and antisymmetric signals. Symmetric means even. If a signal is said to be even signal, x of n is equal to x of minus n. A signal which obeys this condition is called as even signal. Otherwise, a signal which obeys this condition, x of minus n is equal to minus x of n, is called antisymmetric or odd signals. From this, we can find out a even part of signal and odd part of the signal. How, sir? Every signal have both components. X of n is equal to x e or e of n plus x naught of n. How we can find out x e of n? X e of n is equal to x of n plus x of minus n by 2. X odd of n is equal to x of n minus x of minus n by 2. By using these formulas, we can find out even part of the signal and odd part of the signal, which is very useful in the problems. They have given one signal, you have to find out even part and odd parts. 10 marks they will give, you have to go for this. X e of n equal to x of n plus x of minus n by 2. X odd of n is equal to x of n minus x of minus n by 2. So how we can find out x of minus n? They have given one signal, that is x of n. In that signal you have to place minus n in place of n. That is called x of minus n. That is called time reversal operation. We will see in the mathematical operations. Okay. This is the example for even. This is the example for odd. That means if we take this is the signal. Okay. If we change by using n equal to 0 axis, if we rotate right side to left side to right side, both signals are equal. That is called even signal. That means what is the condition for even? X of minus n is equal to x of n. That means time reversal signal must be equal to original signal. For time reversal means n equal to 0 to infinity must be becomes n equal to minus 0 to minus infinity. N equal to 0 to minus infinity must be becomes n equal to 0 to infinity. That type of signal is called as even signal. Here if you see n equal to 0 to infinity becomes this side. This side means negative amplitude. Same signal in negative amplitude. Then this one becomes this side. This is called negative amplitude. Minus of minus plus. It is called odd signal. X of minus n equal to minus x of n. This is the example for even. This is the example for odd. Next, in signals we have to apply some mathematical operations. Why, sir? You said signal is a physical quantity having some information which is a variable of it depends on one or more independent variables. Okay, that means every signal has some information. To get some information from the signal to outside, we have to apply some mathematical operations. Otherwise, we can't get the information from the signal. Okay, those are some basic operations in the table what we have seen in the slide. First one, time shifting operation, which is used to shift the signal from one domain to another domain. Then time folding or time reversal, which we see in x of minus n. Then addition between, that means if we have to add two signals what we have given. Then subtraction means we have to subtract two signals what they have given. Multiplication, we have to multiply the given two signals. Okay, scaling, we have two types of scaling, that is time scaling and amplitude scaling signals. Okay, these are some basic operations what we have to apply. Okay, in this we have to take some examples also in the next classes what we have. Okay, we will see at the end of the unit we have to go for all problems what we have. Okay, so first time shifting majorly is used to delay the signal or to advance the signal. That means in some cases we have to delay the signal, in some cases we have to advance the signals. Okay, next class we will see what is meant by system and what are the classification of systems. Okay, and that's it for today's class. Any doubts, please contact to my number.